Thank you, Chairman Akaka. Governor Dasheno, your Pueblo's gone through, I think, 4 fires in recent times, and the Las Conchas is the 4th. Do you believe in your interaction and your Pueblo's interaction, your liaison officer, Mike Echeverria, do you think the federal government and its various agencies have gotten better in terms of communicating with you, working with you, developing plans, fighting the fires, preparing for the flooding afterwards? What's your sense of that? You know, 11 years ago you had the Cerro Grande. I think before that the Pueblo was hit with the Dome fire and one other fire. And so what is your sense there of, and could we do things better?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Udall, yes, we could do things better. We need to have coordination with all of the federal agencies that have always been considered trustees of the tribes that they serve. It's always important to recognize the issue of sovereignty, as you said, Mr. Chairman. Sovereignty is built upon the premise that the federal trustee belongs in working with tribal government. I believe in that. Therefore, the trustee responsibility of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the Indian Health Service, Corps of Engineers to some extent, Bureau of Reclamation, within Interior, Fish and Wildlife, within the programs under DHHS, the programs under HUD, are critical that they do coordinate and work with tribal governments. However, one of the things that we would suggest is that resources be given to every tribe to develop a plan. Because without a plan, when federal emergencies or federal assistance is required, everyone seems to be hustling to get the work done, but many times we overlook issues. If a tribe had a plan to work from, it's easier for us to determine what the resources are needed for and how it's going to be done. So yes, Mr. Chairman, Senator Udall, we feel that there could be a better process that all of us can work together on, and that's the recommendation we made as part of the record in our written statement.
And Governor Dasheno, you had a plan coming into this, whereas I think some of the other Pueblos didn't. Were you better able to deal with some of the issues because of that?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Udall, in a humble way, yes. Because we've experienced 3 previous fires, and with this fire, we had the process in place. We had gone through an exercise of setting up an emergency management plan. We created an incident management team. So we put that into effect day 1. 1 to deal with the fire, and 2, and a separate one to deal with the flooding. Without that, we probably would be like many, many tribes that don't have the means to create that resource and how quickly it can be activated. The federal agencies basically said that they have the resources at their level. Well, that resource should also be done for tribal governments. They need to organize those resources. And again, because tribal governments don't have the means to do that, it's important for the United States government to hear our concerns and really put some funding available to all of us so that we can prepare ourselves for natural disasters.
Governor, you heard the testimony before you. You were here while the various federal agencies testified. You heard the Forest Service and the BIA talk about the bear teams and them being out there and trying to get ready for the flooding. Do you have any comments or either responding to what they said or how that bear team process is moving along, recognizing that's the process that prevents the flooding from happening, tries to do as much as it can? Is that moving smoothly? Where is that at this point?
Mr. Chairman and Senator Udall, today at 1 o'clock New Mexico time, we were supposed to have been given the draft of the bear team report for the Northern Pueblos area, specifically Santa Clara. To get a bear team to come in takes a lot of effort on many resources. They've been here for approximately 2 weeks now. Their time will end this coming Monday when they give the final report to all of us at the Northern Pueblos and then one to the Southern Pueblos. It takes a long time for many tribal governments to really understand what that process means. And by a long time, I don't mean 60 or 90 days. We should be given the opportunity at least 15 days or 30 days, similar to what you have, Mr. Chairman, in allowing the record to be open for that time period. We should also be given some additional time to allow us to make our comments, because we're supposed to now have our recommendations as early as tomorrow or no later than Saturday or Sunday at the latest. So it does not really give us a whole bunch of time to really determine the true accuracies that we need to input into a report such as the bear plan, because those are very, very technical reports. They address issues for the short term and for the long term. So it's incumbent on all of us as tribal governments to be given an additional time, although we are part of the bear team effort. As you said, Senator Udall, many tribes do not have that capability to be able to be on the team because they don't have the resources. So yes, Mr. Chairman and Senator Udall, we need to get a little bit more time to do that, and I'm hoping that we'll then give a definite quantified statement regarding that issue.
Well, we in my office looks forward to work with you very closely to make sure all the interactions take place with the various federal agencies, including the bear team, to make sure that you get your input, whether it's input on specific actions that should be taken with regard to the ponds in the canyon or sacred sites or anything else. So we look forward to working with you closely. Chairman Akaka, I have other questions, but I want to make sure you get to ask your questions also, and I see I'm a little bit over time here. So